Not since Lord of the Rings has 3 hours gone by so quickly, and not since ever has a movie utilized slow-mo so well. Top Gun Maverick was good, guys, but I don't remember seeing him fight any tigers. If my American friends ever take a recommendation from my videos, I want it to be this one. RRR, which stands for Rise, Roar, Revolt, which is already f***ing awesome, is India's biggest blockbuster. It's a Tollywood action fantasy film, not Bollywood, because it's in Telugu, and it is streaming on Netflix now, but only in Hindi, which is strange and a bummer. But I've actually seen this twice now. I had the pleasure of seeing it in theaters. I have a lot of amazing friends in the film community, Indian and otherwise, who encouraged me to see it, and I'm so glad because it is probably the most fun I've ever had in the theaters. And it was shamefully my first experience with Indian cinema, which I'm now trying to remedy. I'm in the middle of watching Bahubali, which so many people recommended, but RRR is just a titan of a film, and I cannot wait to talk about it. But first, make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on RRR, and let's get into it. The story of RRR is this revisionist fantasy period epic about these two men who can basically be seen as gods or superheroes. They have superhuman resilience and strength. It's like a legend. And it's set pre-independence in the 1920s, so they're fighting British colonialists, but it's much more complicated than that. They have a very complicated relationship with complicated motivations, so the story is ridiculously compelling and emotionally charged. You have Ram, who is the fire, and Beam, who is the water, and I love the way they make it feel so elemental and larger than life. There are so many ways I could describe the experience of watching this film, but it feels like when a puppy is so cute, you don't know what to do with yourself. It's so awesome and audacious. There are dance sequences and some of the most incredible action sequences you've ever seen in your life, and it just makes you want to explode, but you can't do anything about it except rewatch it and maybe dance around the living room to the end credits. And I want to dump praise on these two lead performances. Ram Shriram as Ram and N.T. Ramarao Jr. as Beam, two of my favorite performances in an action blockbuster ever. Their relationship is raw and transcendent, and they play it with just as much ferocity and physicality as tenderness. They are both these primal titans, but their friendship is poignant, and we get so many great emotional close-ups and montages, and their performances are just brilliant. All of the performances from the supporting cast are great as well. It's like everything that I enjoy in a blockbuster to the highest level. It's bombastic, but it has a compelling story. The performances are excellent. People are fighting tigers. There's a mythical aspect, dance numbers, romance, action. And what I'm describing is Masala filmmaking, basically this blending of genres that's really popular in Indian films that I'm obviously not very familiar with, so I will defer to people in the comments to offer more knowledge. But I thought it was so fun. The silliness and even something like the shaky special effects are part of the film's identity in a way that I just found so charming and aware, and the result is absolutely electrifying. And the set pieces are like nothing you've seen before. It moves at a breakneck pace. Like I said before, it's 3 hours long, but you don't feel a single second of that because it's propelled so perfectly by these massive action sequences that are unconscionably epic. You think the first one, where Ram fights off an entire mob of people, is the best thing you've ever seen, but it just keeps outdoing itself until a finale for the ages. Huge hats off to the choreography and stunt teams. There's such an awesome mix of VFX and practical stunts and miniatures, and it's also just shot so excitingly and interestingly. SS Rajamouli clearly knows how to create spectacle and make you feel the gravity and scope of the situation. They're busy and colorful, and the blocking is fantastic. There's also so much visual storytelling and these cool little ways to show their elemental presence as fire and water, which is easily one of my favorite details. The editing is a really important part of that too, and it's really brilliant. It doesn't feel like it's in a rush, but it constantly has this really high octane feel to it. And the music is pounding and visceral just when you think it's about to run out of steam. You hear these low chants and drums, and you're like, oh boy. I love Ram's theme. I've got Natu Natu on repeat, and I loved, well, I could only read the lyrics, but I really enjoyed how during these montages, the songs were kind of narrating this larger implication of the conflict and their relationship. I want to title this video, White Girl Discovers Indian Cinema. I at no point tend to exoticize it. I just really feel like this joyous energy is something that we really don't see enough of in American films. And it was so refreshing. It made me feel a way that a blockbuster never has. Like it was a celebration of life and cinema and the perseverance of Indian history and culture. It's just beaming with that energy in a way that is just so exciting. This is my favorite film of the year so far. After a rewatch, I just put it up above everything everywhere all at once because it is just so incredibly my thing, and I think it's something really special. It's bringing people people together across cultures and countries. And most of all, it's just a really well done film and an absolute blast. So it is my pleasure to give RRR 5 out of 5 stars. Again, I really recommend checking this one out, especially the American audience. I think this is gonna be a huge gateway film for people. I mean, it already is. It's a shame that it's not in theaters anymore, but watch it on the biggest screen you can manage. Maybe it'll return to theaters at some point. If it does, I'm gonna be first in line. Let me know your thoughts on RRR, guys, or drop some recommendations in the comments of other great Indian films. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and keep an eye out for more videos soon. Thanks for watching.